Good job, Alice. You did such a good job.
Glad that's over
at this point.
I'm glad it's over, but yeah, it wasn't that bad actually, as I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at the goals that you had made for this exposure. You specifically wanted to be out in an open space, right? And you wanted to sing loudly and sing 3 times. How do you think you did with your goals?
I sang it 3 times, and I didn't stop. I thought I might stop after the first one, but
kept going.
Kept going. I think I sang loudly because there were like some people like almost like half a block down who clearly could hear me. So, because they were like looking.
You did a great job, and you met all your goals, and so now this is a very successful exposure. Now, what was your anxiety at the end of the exposure?
It went down like that 3rd time. It was like down to like a 40.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty low. And when I first went out there, when I like first opened my mouth, I felt that like spike, and it maybe spiked up to like a 90 or 9 out of 10.
Okay.
But then like by this first one when I stopped, and the second one and the third one, it was like pretty low.
Great. Well, that's a great thing that happened. Although we want to just reiterate that having a reduction in your anxiety is not how we will measure the success of the exposure. It is great though that dropped, because then you see the exposure model is actually working in action.
Okay. That was good.
Well, let's take a look at some of the predictions that you made also.
Yeah.
So you predicted that a crowd would start to form around you, and that you might make a mistake.
Right. I actually did make a mistake.
Yeah.
There were 1 or 2 places where my voice kind of cracked because I was having to sing it so loud, and it was like out of my register.
Interesting. Yeah. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone else knows. I mean, and people there were people going on bikes and walking by, and people coming out of the train. Especially there was this. I felt that spike when there were like about 4 people who came out of that train, and I was like, I'm gonna choke right here, but I kept going. And I think I did make a mistake, but nobody stopped. Nobody even gathered. I was kind of surprised. I thought people would. I thought people would gather. I thought that maybe I would even. Like, people would say I was making noise, or, potentially even something like, I know it sounds silly to say it now, but I really did feel like somebody might, like a policeman might come and say you're, like, disturbing the peace, because, there are a lot of cops in that area. Or somebody, like, from the stores might say, like, we want you off our property, in front of our property. But none of that happened. And there was even, they opened the door, and my voice clearly carried into, like, that bagel shop, and people didn't say anything.
What do you make of the fact that those predictions weren't true?
I mean, I guess I wouldn't have known until I tried it, I think that, though, like, it was kind of easier in some ways than what we thought was going to be.
You think so?
Because I think if there had been more people, like, it had been more crowded.
Okay.
Or, like, if I had, like, been singing the song, like in a different tune, like the wrong tune, I think it would have been harder.
I think that's a great suggestion, actually, for another exposure for you to experiment with. Let's actually, what do you say that you go back out and you actually sing again 3 times, Mary Had a Little Lamb, but then at one point in the song, make a mistake on purpose and actually switch to the tune of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. What do you think?
Yeah, that would be harder.
Right.
But I thought that just even doing it just straight up would have been really hard, so...
Well, in the spirit of dialing up that anxiety, right, because you were at 9, but it did come down quite a bit during the exposure, and because you were specifically afraid of making a mistake, let's have you actually just make a mistake during the song.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah, because,
So what do you say about having you go back out, and let's go down into the station this time, in the center of the platform, so you're around more people, and then sing 3 times again, so same goals as last time, sing loudly, and just one other goal, which is just to sing the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star at one point in the song.
Okay, that would make it harder, but I didn't think I could just do what we just did, so I'm willing to try it.
Great. Let's give that a try.